Every BMW owner thinks they're different. They're not. Because no matter where you start, whether that's a 2005 banger with one working key fob or a factory-ordered M3 you waited 6 months for, every single one of them goes through the exact same 5 stages. This is your life, as every BMW owner. Facebook Marketplace, £1,400, 3 previous owners, 2 of which did mostly motorway miles. One key fob works perfectly, the other one exists. You tell yourself it's just a car, but it's not just a car, it's a BMW. And that matters more than you'll ever admit out loud. The first thing you learn is the situation about the key. The main fob works, most of the time. You've got to press it twice, sometimes 3 times, and hold it at a slight angle. You know the angle. Nobody else knows the angle. That's fine. The spare key is held together with electrical tape. You've accepted this. You've also accepted that you will never ever get a replacement, because you looked it up once, and you closed the tab immediately. Cold mornings are a ritual. You get in, you put the key in, you wait. Because if you don't wait, if you just turn it and go like an animal, it will punish you for that. It idles rough for about 40 seconds. The DSC light comes on. The engine management light is always on. Has been since you bought it. Oh, and get ready for that chime. You know, the one that tells you your engine may be about to blow up or that it's just cold outside. The previous owner said it was just a sensor. You've decided to believe him. By the time you pull off the driveway, it's fine. Mostly fine. The first service is a rite of passage. You take it in for an oil change. That's all. Just an oil change. They call you 2 hours later. Yeah, so we've had a look and there's a few things. There are always a few things. There are never fewer things. The things multiply. You sit in the waiting room staring at your phone, watching your savings do something you weren't expecting them to do. You pay it. Of course you pay it, because it's a BMW. But here's the thing nobody tells you. At the end of a long day, lights on, music up, wet road ahead, there is genuinely nowhere you'd rather be. It's a 15-year-old car held together by hope and electrical tape, but it's a BMW, and on nights like this, that's enough. You told yourself you'd never finance a car. £380 a month. You told yourself it was just this once, that it made financial sense, that the interest rate was reasonable, that you'd done the maths. You hadn't really done the maths, but standing in that forecourt, keys in hand, looking at a 2012 F30 with full service history and working parking sensors, every single one of those numbers felt completely irrelevant. The F30 changes something in you. You sit differently, you drive differently. You notice other BMWs on the road and do that thing, that slight acknowledgement, that almost nod, that you used to find insufferable when other drivers did it to you. Now you do it. You check the fuel economy religiously, 52 miles per gallon on the motorway. You've told at least 4 people this information completely unprompted. The parking sensors are, in theory, a luxury. In practice, they beep at absolutely everything. A bollard 40 feet away, a shopping trolley that isn't moving, rain. They even once beeped at a leaf. You've learned to park by sound. 4 beeps, you're fine. 6 beeps, slow down. 1 long continuous beep, stop the car immediately and reconsider your entire approach. The people in the car behind you in the Tesco car park do not find this as funny as you eventually will. The EGR cooler. You didn't know what an EGR cooler was 18 months ago. You know now. You know it in the way you know your own birthday, automatically, without thinking, with a faint sense of dread. You pull over on a Tuesday morning, 20 minutes from work. The temperature gauge is doing something it shouldn't. There's a smell. You call the garage. They say bring it in. You already know it's going to be expensive. It's always expensive. That's the deal. Nobody tells you that's the deal, but that's the deal. You become, without meaning to, a diesel evangelist. 54 miles per gallon last week. 54, on a mixed cycle. You know what that means for your annual fuel cost? You've worked it out. You've worked it out more than once. Your friends are supportive. Mostly. They listen. They nod. They change the subject after about 3 minutes. You do not change the subject. This is the one. You didn't tell many people you'd ordered it. You told yourself that was because you wanted it to be a surprise. That wasn't why. You told them the day it arrived. You told all of them. You took a photo. You took several photos. The lighting wasn't right in any of them, so you took more. The neighbors have noticed. You've noticed them noticing. You're pretending you haven't. Sunday morning is now sacred, not in a religious sense. In a two-bucket method, iron fallout remover, clay bar, ceramic coating sense. You own products you can't explain to other people. You've watched videos about paint correction at midnight. You know what swirl marks are. You see them everywhere. On other people's cars. On cars you're just walking past. You don't say anything, but you see them. The M340i doesn't have swirl marks. The M340i will never have swirl marks. Sport mode is not a practical choice. You know this. In the school run traffic on a Tuesday, it makes absolutely no difference. The engine is louder, the throttle is sharper. You are sitting in the same queue you were sitting in before. You use it every single time, every single time. Comfort mode is for other people. The payment comes out on the 14th. You know this. You've always known this. And yet somehow, every single month when the notification arrives, there is a moment, just a moment, where it lands differently than you expected. You close the app, you open it again, you close it again, you go and look at the car, you feel better. It happens on the A road outside Knutsford, a Golf R, admittedly. But still, you don't race. You are an adult. You have a mortgage and a direct debit and a two-bucket method. You do not race strangers on A roads. You also arrive home 4 minutes faster than usual. You don't mention this to anyone. The order takes 40 minutes. Isle of Man green, competition package, carbon mirrors, M drivers package. A color that doesn't exist in the real world but somehow makes complete sense on this specific car. The salesperson asks if you'd like to add the extended warranty. You don't even look up from the form. No, you're past warranties. Warranties are for people who aren't sure. 6 months. You check the BMW order tracker every morning. It says the same thing every morning. You check it again in the afternoon, in case something changed. Nothing changed. You start dreaming about it. Genuinely, actually dreaming about it. You wake up and for half a second you think it's already there, on the drive, waiting. Then you remember it's March and it isn't arriving until July. You check the tracker again. July 14th. You remember the date the way people remember birthdays, the way people remember important days. It's standing there in Isle of Man green under the afternoon sun, and it looks, genuinely, objectively, like nothing else on the road. The salesperson is saying something. You've stopped listening. You are already inside it. The track day changes things. You booked it because everyone said you should. You turned up thinking you'd be fine, comfortable even. By lap 3, you understand for the first time what this car actually is. It's not a road car you occasionally push hard. It's a track car that happens to be road legal. Those are completely different things. You book the next track day before you've left the car park. The car park situation is not something they cover in the brochure. You park at the far end, always the far end. 2 spaces, diagonal if possible. You've walked an extra quarter-mile to a Tesco because the nearer car park had trolleys too close to the bays. You've started doing risk assessments for car parks. You know this is a problem. You're not ready to address it. There's no tracker to check, no finance agreement, no monthly notification. There's no story about how you got here, because the story is the whole point, and you've just watched it. The CSL is the end of something, or the beginning, depending on where you're starting from. On the right road, early enough in the morning, this car exists in a different category to everything else. Not faster, not louder, just different. The kind of different that's hard to explain to someone who hasn't felt it. The kind of different that somewhere back at the beginning, a 20-something leaning against a dented E46 in the rain would have given anything to understand. The Nürburgring isn't a flex. You know people who treat it as a flex. That's not what it is. It's a conversation. Between you and 21 kilometers of road that has been asking the same question of drivers for nearly a century, you've answered it 3 times now. You'll answer it again. You stop noticing the stairs after a while, or rather, you notice them, but they stop meaning anything. At the beginning, you wanted people to look. That was half the point. You'd be lying if you said otherwise. Now you're filling up on a Wednesday afternoon and three people have forgotten what they were doing. You finish, you get in, you leave, just a car. Every BMW owner has a rank one. The cold mornings, the key fob, the garage waiting room, the things you paid for that you didn't expect to pay for, and most of them, if they're honest, wouldn't skip it. Because the car you're proudest of isn't always the most expensive one you've owned. Sometimes it's the one that cost you £1,400 and taught you everything. Which rank are you? Drop it in the comments.